Ring, ring, 7 a.m. Move yourself to go again. Cold water in your face is gonna bring you back to this awful place. Knuckle merchants and the bankers too, who must get up and learn those rules. Riverman and Crazy Chief, one says sun and one says sleep. Now the AM, the FM, the PM too, turning out that boogaloo. It gets you up and it gets you out, but how long can you keep it up? I said, give me Honda, give me Sony. It's so cheap and it's so phony. Hong Kong dollar, Indian cents, English pounds and the Benjamins. I said, New York! Don't stop and give it all you got. Hey, New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say, New York! Come on and get up. Don't stop and give it all you got. Say, New York! Get up. You just don't stop and give it all you got. Looking for a rise to better my station. Take my baby to sophistication. See the ads? Well, isn't it nice? Better work hard cause I know the price. Now, never mind that. It's time for the bus. And you'll get on cause you're one of us. The clocks go slow in the place of work. The minutes drag and the hours jerk.
All right, live from the Donkey Cat Studios on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, it's On the Horn with Andrew Weinhorn. Welcome. This is show number 11, if you can believe. And if anybody's there in the background, keep the volume down, just letting you know. Wow, September 23rd, beautiful night here in New York City. I am very, very excited. This is going to be an excellent show for a number of reasons. First off, I'll let you know I have these new earbuds. This allows me to hear things a little bit differently, but I won't go into that. I don't like the black, nothing personal. I wish they were white, but this specific model, $80, not $220 made by Tozo. Yeah, I put it in yellow, whatever. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing. For those of you who haven't liked me on YouTube, Facebook, subscribe, do all that stuff, I'm always happy to have you. I'm going to get to the show very quickly. I feel obligated just to touch on the Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing just for a second. First of all, my grandmother's name is Ruth. My sister's middle name is Ruth. There's not a lot more that can be said about this thing. I mean, the timing was bad if you're more on the liberal Democratic side, as I'm sure most of you are. But this whole thing, the word hypocrisy has been thrown around enough to make us ill. But it is the ultimate hypocrisy. They all came out and said, Merrick Garland, 8 months before, we're not going to, confirm him because blah, 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 blah. And now 5 weeks before the election, and it's just sickening. I'm so tired of every day in the news and the Trump administration is bad enough. But this is different because this is a Supreme Court nominee. And when we look at things like women's rights and global warming, it's really going to affect us. I mean, my friend Josh said, you know what, if Trump gets in, whatever, how much is it going to affect your life? But the Supreme Court. So, do the Democrats come back and say, we're going to add 3 new seats, and then we'll have the Republicans say, screw you, we're going to, and it escalates. Oh, man! Anyway, that's all I got. How are you feeling? You look as good as me. I just had to wear purple tonight. And I have a lav mic. If it crackles, I'm sorry. I'm only still working up the audio. Listen, before we get started, there's one thing happening that I like a lot. It's called hockey. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. And the Stanley Cup playoffs, the finals are going on right now. And I want to bring in my friend, Danny D. Whoops, I almost screwed up. Let me see. That's screwed. You see? I'm a director. Can I have that? All right, well, Jimmy James is going to hang out. I'm not sure how to just get me and Danny, so I'm going to punch you up, Danny. Tell me how to sync. I'm at a loss. There's 3 of us. I don't know how to get myself back into sync. I don't know. Everything's hooked up. Everything's in place. Danny, what's happening hockey-wise? Who's in the final? How did they get there?
Well, let me just say, yeah, you are out of sync, but it's doable right now, just so you can feel better.
Okay.
Yourself.
Okay.
But, I mean, we could talk about the game that's going on right now, but maybe if couple folks are DVRing it, we can talk about how the teams got here, and maybe the unlikely matchup, or maybe you think otherwise.
Who's in it? Fill our fans in who don't even know.
Yeah, we've got the Dallas Stars.
Who's playing?
The Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning. You guys, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been pretty good the past 5-6 years and really haven't been able to get it done. So to see them in the final this year, they feel like a different team. There's some things that I'd like to share about the game right now that I'm going to refrain from for the reasons I just said, but they're exciting.
Okay.
If you like hockey, they're really fun to watch.
Yeah. Okay. How about Dallas? I mean, I just think that was not a name that anybody knew, and they just kind of beat Vegas. And why are they there? What are they doing that got them in the finals? And it's 1-1 at this point, series-wise.
Yeah, I mean, they have been the beneficiaries of really good goaltending, but I also think a lot of people aren't talking about their defensive core. They've got a really young defense that can skate and get up into the play, and they're physical and they produce offense, and especially in the playoffs, like you got to be rolling 4 lines deep, and you have to have your defense like coming hard, and they're doing that pretty well.
I love it, just like a commentator or a coach. All right, right now, who's gonna win the series? Just give me the Danny Dixon prediction.
Oh my God, that's really tough.
Come on!
I have the benefit of watching the first 2 games. I'm going to say Dallas in 6.
Woo! All right, I'm leaving on that. Bye. Thank you, Danny. Okay. Well, we're going to go right to you, Jimmy. First of all, wait. I was going to say sometimes I like to lay the foundation of different things that I'm going to do. Jimmy, as you see, is our guest. We're going to talk to him about New York, the past, the present, the future. He's got some films because he told me he's a fan of my old public access show, Dog Big Cat, and mentioned something. I'm going to play some of those. And we're going to try to get us to a lot of visuals if we can, because you seem to be a pretty visual fellow from all the things that we talked about and you showed me. Well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Ronald turned me on to you.
Sure.
I knew who you were, so I was psyched to be here, having watched public access in the past and been a fan of your show. So you're a classic New York character, man. You're in the fold. It's the truth.
I love that. I want to be in the fold. And all these notes that I was looking through that we talked about, there is definitely a fold. You were talking about the 80s and artists and the clubs and the drugs and the people. I wrote down phrases, swim with it or don't, which I love. Proud to be a part of that era. Interesting shit was going on back then. I don't know. So tell me, you are a native New Yorker, correct?
I am. I'm born and raised Manhattan. Someone asked me how I would describe myself. I would say 2 things. Number 1, I'm from New York City. I'm from Manhattan.
Yeah.
And number 2, I'm Jewish, but I'm culturally Jewish. So I would say, someone says they're like Italian American. I don't go to temple. I wasn't bar mitzvahed. My bar mitzvah, my daughter is getting bat mitzvah very soon, but that's my culture, right? So, but Manhattan's first.
Hold on 1 second. I just saw something. I want to see something. Boy, if this screws up everything, then I'll restart it. But I'm on Wi-Fi and I'm hardwired. Let me see if this changes anything. How's my voice? Do I look a little more in sync? Do I look more in sync? Is my voice?
No, you're doing like karate film. You're karate filming it.
Fuck. Chris! What? I try so hard. I do hour after hour of tests. Everything is on, every setting. Oh my God. All right, just another thing to have to figure out. Well, you're more important than me anyway. So tell me about growing up in New York City. And where did you grow up?
I grew up on the Upper East Side. I grew up on the Upper East Side, born in 1967. So a lot of it was in the 70s, and New York City was a different thing in the 70s. I don't know if anyone who's not from New York City knows, but in the 70s, New York City was down and out, and there was a famous New York Post cover that said Ford to New York, drop dead. And Ford was the president after Nixon, and like the Bronx was burning. So it was dangerous, man. Central Park was not the Central Park right? So part of being a New Yorker back then is you had to know how to walk around. You had to know how to know what was around you, even from a kid who grew up privileged on the Upper East Side. So that just gave me some skills that allowed me to take into the future. And I think that's really essential in being a New Yorker. It doesn't matter if you've come to New York and you haven't been there for a long time. Either you get it or you don't, right? Some people say it takes a few years. My feeling is like, you get it or you don't, man. And that's it. And you could be there for a week. And I'm welcoming you in either way. Go ride the subway, whatever. And it's just like you get it. You know how to cross the street. There's a way to cross the street. There's a way to not pay attention to the walk sign. But you got to know it. Otherwise, you're like clueless. And that's it. So that's basically the down low.
You know what? I don't like being out of sync, and it kind of pisses me off. So I think I should try. I want to see if I can just like start again. I'm going to start a new stream, and then I'm going to invite you in, and let's just see if like resetting does it. So I would say just stand by. It'll go live when I hit go live anyway, and let's see if that changes anything, because I don't want to be delayed. So hang on, let me see what I can do. And everyone else out there, just go and grab a beer.
Oh, it's me. I'm still on. Yo, can you hear me? Kenny Venema, can you hear me? All right, looks like I am on and Andrew Einhorn is not on. So my buddy Kenny Venema is telling me to do the talking. My girlfriend told me not to pick my nose. So I won't do that. My friend David Fuhr told me not to swear. Can't promise that. Andrew Einhorn, I can tell you, let's talk about Andrew Einhorn. Andrew Einhorn is the host of the show. Oh, this is too funny. Everyone's texting me. Andrew's the host of the show. He's a New York City character. I would recommend everyone to check this out in the future. I might not be the most interesting of guests at all, but I've taken over his feed. So, I would swear normally, but Dave here said no. He's a photographer. He's been in the art scene for a minute. Most of you probably who are watching know me, so I don't really have to say anything about that. And Dave Jure said, it is my show now. So, you know, let's talk about food because I'm all about food and everyone here knows I'm about food. But in the meantime, I think I need to, Dave Jure said, what'd I do with Andrew? I actually had him knocked off so I could hijack this show. But we got to get Andrew Einhorn back on this because it would be very upsetting to him. And I don't think it's fair. So let me see if I can. This is called vamping, by the way, people. So he sent me a new link. I'm going to try and sign into that. I don't know what's best. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to text Andrew Einhorn. I'm actually, you know what, everybody? I'm going to quit out of this, pop into his new link. Hope to see you. This was my show. It's going to be Andrew Einhorn show back, and I'll be back in a minute.